Hey folks, it's Tinker, Miriam Joire, and here is another box to open, another unboxing in another day. This is the Moto G6, the latest of the G series. As you know, the G series has been a pretty significant product for Moto for a long time now because you know, it's their kind of mid-range, but it's been extremely popular and successful. You can see this is a 32 gig 3 GB of RAM version, and so you know it's a big deal. Every year it's better. Every year it kind of defines what a mid-range phone should be for the US market. So I'm super excited about this phone. Last year's G5 was pretty awesome, but this kind of cranks it up to another notch. This is a $250 phone roughly. I don't have exact pricing and availability, but it's in that ballpark. It's going to be in that ballpark. You can see this is the back. There's a bunch of info on what's in the box. I showed you the specs. So let's just get this this open. Dun 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 dun. There you go. Nothing inside, just in case you're wondering. So of course the phone's here, and then there's a bunch of stuff in the box. Let me show you the phone in greater detail later. Let's start with what's in the box. There's a divider. You can see some cutouts for the buttons. So the thing doesn't power on accidentally while it's being shipped. And here is a couple of manuals, SIM removal tool, obviously. Manual here is just a README. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's got a description of the phone, the buttons, and how to insert a SIM card and an SD card and all that good stuff. How to do gestures on the front if you prefer gestures over buttons. Multiple languages. And then you have a, you know, safety, legal, regulatory, we don't care card. Now it has turbocharging, which is Moto's way of saying it has a fast charging system. You can see the charger here, USB type A on one end. Moto branded, Moto Turbo Power, of course. Let's have a look at the numbers here. I'm not quite sure it's readable, easy to read. But yeah, should be standard turbocharging. So that's the AC adapter, and then we have a cable, of course. Now this is what's exciting. I don't know if you can see it very well here. I'm not going to unravel it, but it's USB Type C. It's Type C. First time a G series phone has from Moto has a Type C connection. Type A on the other end. So that's the cable, obviously. And that's it for the box. There's really nothing else here, just a bunch of dividers. So let's look at the phone, because that's really what we came for, right? So this is exciting because, again, this is the first G series phone from Moto that is aluminum and glass. It's a glass sandwich. It's got a glass cover in the back, a metal frame all the way around, and glass in the front, obviously. And, you know, the previous one had a glass... didn't have glass. It had a metal cover in the back, but it still had a plastic frame. The G5, there was a G5 Plus and G5S Plus or whatever that had a full metal construction. You know, but this is basically built like the Moto X4 from last year, which is a glass sandwich. And at this price point, it's pretty impressive. So let me power it up real quick so we can have a look. Ta-da! And then I'll remove the front and back glass covers, sticky things. I'm expecting a Hello Moto at any point. I'll walk you through the phone, don't worry.
Hello Moto.
There you go, there's your Hello Moto. All right. And there you go, it's ready to set up. Now this is looked like a pretty nice display. I think it's an IPS panel. I could be wrong, could be OLED, but it looks like IPS to me. Anyway, let me just hit the power button really quick, and let's remove this first layer. I know you love it when I remove layers live on TV, as it were. You ready? Here's the sound. There you go. And then they didn't put one on the back on this one. Well, there's this tiny little one here. So I'm going to get rid of that, assuming my fingernails can catch it. Not sure why they bother with this one, but that's the phone in a nutshell. So let me walk you through the back real quick. You've got, as you can see, very similar design to the X4 last year, even down to this little kind of like radial bars in the camera pod. I don't know if you can see those. So there's a 12 megapixel main camera. I believe it's f/1.8, and a 5 megapixel secondary camera. You can see how much smaller that is. That's just for depth perception for portrait mode. It has an f/2.2 lens. And then got the Moto logo here under the glass. There's a lot of dust already on this. Primary microphone, or maybe a third microphone, seems to be in the back. Interesting. And then it has the same kind of shape, you know, as the Moto X4. This kind of like feels really good in hand shape. And in the front, you have this 1080p panel, which, as I said, I think is IPS. Yeah, it's IPS. Just looked at the specs. They're just off to my side over here. And it looks really good. I mean, you could mistake this for an OLED, which is why I wasn't 100% sure. Viewing angles is kind of what gives it away as an IPS, I think, a little more. But so it's an 18:9 display, 1080p. As you can see, 18:9 is a big deal. This is the first time we've got a Moto G with 18:9. And then it's got an 8 megapixel front camera with f/2.2. And it's really wanting to rotate the screen. It's got an earpiece. And actually, I'm not sure. Is this probably a flash or notification LED or both? Moto has had front-facing flashes for quite a while on their phones. And then on the bottom here, of course, you got the Motorola logo. Aha, so that's the primary mic. So that mic in the back is a third mic. And then you've got the fingerprint reader, which can also be used as a gesture area if you prefer using gestures instead of buttons. And it's a bit of a chin in the front, despite the 18:9, because of the fingerprint reader. Interesting rounded corners on the display, native rounded corners, so that's kind of cool. In terms of the guts, we're talking about a Snapdragon 450. This particular model has 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage, but there is a 4 gig of RAM, 64 gig of storage version available. I don't think we'll get this one in the US necessarily. It's got 3,000 milliamp hour battery. So Snapdragon 450 is a mid-range, low mid-range chip, but you know, don't let that fool you. The G series have been running Snapdragon 400 series for years and have always been perfectly adequate performance-wise. Really no issue, even playing games. So I'm not too worried about that, frankly. At this price point, I think it's great. So let me walk you through the phone real quick. You've got a SIM tray here on the top, SIM micro SD tray. It's right on the top here. No, there is a secondary mic. I was going to say there's no secondary mic, but there it is. On the right-hand side, you've got absolutely nothing. It's a complete blank canvas. On the bottom, you have a headphone jack. Big deal. USB-C, first Moto G was USB-C connectivity. Very big deal. That and the 18:9, the glass build, and the dual camera really bring this phone up a notch from last year's. These are all some of the differentiators. Spec-wise, it's very similar, though. And then on the right-hand side, you got a power lock key here, which is ridged. You can feel it, which is really nice, and then a volume rocker. So again, you know, for what we expect to be about 250, I'm not sure of the price yet. I'm not sure of the availability, but that's what I'm guessing. Less than 250. This is kind of an amazing phone from Moto for that money, in every way. I'm still wearing my Maker Faire band here because I've been coming and going to the event all weekend, in case you're wondering. So there you have it, the Moto G6, this year's mid-range Moto. Pretty awesome phone for the money. Comes in different colors. I don't have the colors off the top of my hand here, but there's a silver one for sure, probably a gold one, and the black one I have here. So there you go. I'm going to set that up and I'll let you know how it fares. And yeah, good stuff. So remember, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and more importantly, tell your friends. And this is all a supplement to my podcast. This is what it's about. The podcast, mobiletechpodcast.com. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends about that as well. We're on iTunes, we're on Overcast, we're on Pocket Cast, we're everywhere. So I do that weekly, and I talk about phones and all kinds of other stuff. Anything that's mobile technology. That includes cars, of course, because they're mobile technology these days. So there you go. I'll catch you later for another video. Cheers.